Hey guys, what's up? This is Mark Followell with the Followell Property Group at Keller Williams. I wanted to hop on here for a minute and discuss the current market situation and where we are and where I think we're heading. And I wanted to talk to you guys about a few different things that kind of new to the market as a whole, especially to some of the ones that aren't too familiar with some of the lending processes and kind of the different options that they offer other than just a standard 30-year fixed loan. And so we're going to cover some of those things, and I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible, but there's a lot to go over, a lot of good things to go over, and I want you guys to be aware of it. So with that, let's jump right in. Where are we at in this current market? So anybody that has tried to buy or sell in the last 2 years or post-COVID, as we like to say, has known and seen firsthand that our market was crazy, right? It was beyond good in the sense of people who own homes, right? And so it was a great market. It was tough, very, very tough for buyers to find one. If you tried to buy a house, you saw firsthand that multiple offers. It was just very, very hard to get successfully the home that you wanted. And so one of the reasons for that is that our interest rates were at remarkably historically low. They've never been that low since I've been doing real estate, never seen them. I believe one of the lowest rates I ever saw quoted during its peak was a 1.99. That's essentially free money when it comes to a 30-year note. That's insane. And so that was one of the reasons it drove up our market like it did, because everybody was saying, wow, rates are so low, I've got to buy a house now. And so when you had that many buyers in the market plus a shortage of inventory, which we had, there wasn't just a ton of great listings to go look at, and there was very, very few on a daily basis that were hitting the market. So you had all these buyers trying to go after the same house. And so what was happening is you would get over asking offers, and then it would close at a price that was higher than the list price. And then 2 weeks later, after it closed, the neighbor down the street said, man, I want to sell my house. And they would list their house, and then that one would go over asking. It kind of drove the home values through the roof, and it made it difficult. It made it very difficult for buyers to get what they wanted. So that was kind of how it's been for the last 2 years. And as they say, all good things must come to an end. And it is. So if you were a buyer during that time that lost hope trying to buy a property, now might be the time that will be a lot easier for you guys to find a home. Now, the only thing on the flip side of that makes it a little bit more difficult, availability of homes is there. The competition is lessened, which we've kind of shifted out of a seller's market back over into a more neutral market. Well, that's great for buyers, but now the interest rates have gone way up. Of course, everybody here is aware of inflation and the havoc it's wreaking on our economy currently. The mortgage industry is not immune to that. It's the same thing. So interest rates have gone from where we saw it kind of hovering on an average around the mid twos. They're up in the sevens. And that's a significant difference, which significantly reduces your buying power. If you were approved for a $200,000 house, 2 years ago, at a 2 or 3% interest rate, that approval amount has dropped significantly, 150,000 maybe, because of the interest rate. And so that's a big deal. So we're going to get into it here in a moment on ways to combat that. So there is hope. There is hope. So don't get terrified now that because the rates are so high, there's no way you can afford a house, because we're going to cover some things here in a moment that are fantastic for what some of these lenders are offering right now. And I wanted to just touch on it just a moment. So I've dealt with lenders in my career from all over the United States, out-of-town lenders, out-of-state lenders, a whole lot. But our local lenders here, there are some good ones. And so if you guys need help and need a direction to go, we have some fantastic local lenders here that are offering great programs that are competing on the rates with everybody else nationally. And so be sure and reach out in the comments or something and let me know, and we can point you guys in the right direction. So we'll touch on some of those here in a moment. Let's talk about where the market might be heading, right? So I am not the end-all be-all know-it-all, but I do follow quite a few people that I trust, and I tend to agree with them based off on what I'm seeing personally, not only locally in Brownwood, but in the bigger markets such as Austin, Dallas, that type of things here locally in the state of Texas. But based off of their predictions, everybody tends to think that these interest rates right now currently, which is the number one reason for the slowdown in the market as we speak, those rates are following the rate of inflation. And most people that I listen to and respect and admire their opinion tend to think that we are almost or at the current peak of inflation. And so what does that mean for us? So if we're at our peak of inflation, it's going to slowly start coming back down. Now it's going to come down a lot slower than it did go up. That's just how it works. It's like gas prices, right? They'll shoot up overnight and then they kind of trickle back down. It'll be something similar to that. So as the inflation starts coming down, interest rates should follow. And so as these interest rates start coming down, I think that the market will just pick right back up again. The values are probably going to hold strong for the most part. We're not going to see 20% reduction, 25% reduction in home values where, you know, the neighbor had their house for sale for $300,000 and now they're listed at $249,900. I don't see it coming down like that. It could, but I don't see that happen. So I do think that interest rates are going to come back down. I wouldn't in the near future. I'm looking probably somewhere by the second quarter of next year. That's kind of where I'm at right now. We're hoping that they settle back down somewhere around the mid fives. Currently they're in the high sixes and the low sevens. So, but there's a bunch of things right now that these lenders are offering, and one of them we're going to get into that's a little bit less known, and we're going to talk about that right now. So it's called a 2-1 buy down. Okay, and so I'm gonna go into details about it, but this is not to be confused with an adjustable rate mortgage. Although adjustable rate mortgages for some buyers are or could be the right thing to do. That's going to need to be a conversation between you and your lender on what's the current loan program or options best suited for you. So I get this question a lot: is now a time to buy? Is now a time to sell? Nobody can answer that question except for you. Now, we can give you advice on what we think is going to happen and in the current market situation as it sits today. But at the end of the day, every client is going to have to decide for themselves what that need is and how important it is and the best time to buy or sell. And we can help guide you through that process if you need. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to take a look at it, at your own stuff and try to decide whether or not now is the time to buy or sell. If it is a time to buy, this 2-1 buy down that some of these lenders are offering, some of these local lenders are actually offering, is a remarkable deal. So let's just touch on it for just a moment. We're going to use $200,000 as a baseline number just because it'll be consistent across the board. So let's say that you were approved for a home loan to purchase a house at or around $200,000. So we're going to use $200,000 as the loan amount. And we're going to kind of take the higher end of the rates right now, but let's just say that you were approved at a 7.25% interest rate. On a $200,000 loan, on the principal and interest payment only, on a 30-year note, you're looking at about a payment of about $1,365 a month. Now, you'll have to add the taxes and insurance back onto that to get your true payment if they escrow that stuff out. But $200,000 loan, 7.25% interest rate, you're looking at about $1,365 a month on the principal and interest. This 2-1 buy down that these lenders are offering, now it does cost money, and we're going to get into something about that here in a minute. It would add to your closing cost. But what the 2-1 buy down does is in that first year, payment 1 through payment 12, it actually reduces your rate 2 points. That's where the 2 on the 2-1 buy down comes in. Year 2, it reduces your rate 1 point from the current rate. And then year 3 would take effect. It would lock in at that rate that you locked in at whenever you purchased, which would be a 7.25. So from year 3 until year 30, you'd be paying the regular interest rate of a 7.25. Well, why is that important? Well, listen to this. On a $200,000 loan, that first year, if you elect to go with a 2-1 buy down, your payment would be at a 5.25% interest rate, 2 points lower. And it would go from $1,365 a month that first year down to $1,104. That's a savings of approximately $260 a month. Year 2, it would go up to a 6.25. And your payment would go up to $1,231 a year, which is a savings of about $132 a month. That's a significant savings in monthly payment. And then one of the other things that some of these lenders, and I haven't verified with all of them, but I do, and I have spoken to one of them. One of the other things that the lenders are offering that kind of back up this 2-1 buy down is called a rate redo. So at the end of that 2 years, and you're enjoying this lower rate than what everybody else is paying who was bought at the same time as you, these lenders are coming in going, hey, look, if the interest rates drop to a rate that's lower than that 7.25 and it makes sense, we're going to waive a bunch of the lender fees that are associated with a refinance. So you can buy a house. You've heard the saying, marry the house and date the rate, right? Because the rates are always changing. You can buy a house, get that 2 point lower for the first year, 1 point lower for the second year, and then before that third year takes off, you can call your lender back up and say, hey, what are the current rates right now? And we're hoping, right, there's no guarantee, but we're hoping that they go, hey, man, the rates are at a 5.5. And you go, okay, yeah, I want to refinance. I don't want that 7.25. I want to refinance. That's a huge savings. Whenever you go to refinance, there's always costs associated with that. Well, the lender's portion of those costs, they're going to waive those. It could save you anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 on the refinance expenses, and then you could lock in at that lower rate. So this is enormous news when it comes to your buying power. So like I was talking about a while ago, those interest rates where you were approved from here 2 years ago or a year ago even, it's dropped significantly on your buying power because the rates have gone up. Well, this buy down, this 2-1 buy down kind of levels the playing field to where you can maintain that buying power and still have the option to refinance at the end of it when the rates drop. This is massive. And one of the best things about this, I told you a while ago, there is a cost associated with this. Right? It's everything costs money. The lenders are no different. If you want to buy this and they want to give you a rate that's 2 points lower than the current market, that's going to cost money. That money's got to come from somewhere. But where? So one of the neat things about the current market situation that we're in right now, and we were in that crazy seller's market where you had to basically give them what the sellers wanted, or you weren't getting the house. Most people were going above asking to give the sellers what they wanted so that they would ensure they got that house. We're not in that same market right now. So when you go to make a payment, or you go to make an offer on a house, you can actually ask the sellers to cover the cost of this. Most sellers would be agreeable. And here's why. If you go and offer $200,000 on a house that's listed, let's say it's listed at $200,000, and you try to offer $195,000, and the seller is agreeable to that, so you got a $5,000 deal off that house. A loan amount difference of $200,000 to $195,000 is not going to make a significant difference at all. We're talking $20, $25 a month on your mortgage payment, as opposed to paying the $200,000 that they're asking and asking the seller to cover a seller concession to cover your 2-1 buy down, which would run about, on a $200,000 loan, about $4,700, somewhere in there, so close to $5,000. But your payment that first year is going to save approximately $260 a month. It's crazy. This 2-1 buy down is huge. And here's the kind of cherry on top of this, is that on my listings in general, I've called all of my sellers, and I'm almost through the rest of them, but about 90% of my sellers right now said, Mark, that's a great idea. Let's offer that to these buyers. So in the comment section, I'm actually going to put the links of my listings currently that are offering a 2-1 buy down. They're offering a concession back to the buyer. It's negotiable, right? If you try to offer lower off the price, they may not be as willing to offer that. But if you come in at or around full price, ask for the seller concession for the 2-1 buy down. Ask for it. It's huge. Call your lender today and visit with them about, hey, what's this 2-1 buy down I'm hearing about? How can it help me? Call them and ask them. It's a phenomenal program, especially when it's coupled with the rate redo program that some of these lenders are offering, where you can refinance out of it in a couple of years. This is huge news. I mean, this is very, very big news, especially to combat the rising interest rates that we're seeing right now. So it's a neat deal. And if you guys ever have questions about any of this kind of stuff, I can only answer so many when it comes to the lending side because I'm not a lender. But based on my experience and that kind of stuff, we tend to know quite a bit about the mortgage industry as a whole. But when it comes down to what's right for you, definitely want to have that conversation with your lender. So a couple of those lenders here that are offering this 2-1 buy down. Ray Garza at Texas Bank. He's a phenomenal lender. He's local. He's reachable. You can go into his office and talk to him. Pamela Swoboda and Alan Strickland over at Prime Lending. They're the ones offering the rate redo. They've got the 2-1 buy down as well. And Christy Scott with New City Mortgage, they're offering the 2-1 buy down too. All of these people are local. I will put their information on this post, and I will put their phone numbers down there at the bottom as well. Reach out to these people, visit with them, and then give us a call. If you have any questions about it, we're here to walk you through it. If you want to have the conversation of whether you think now is the time to buy or not, give us a call. We will go over that with you and discuss those options and see what works out best for you. So if you have any questions whatsoever, message us, call us, text us, email us, whatever you want to do, let us know. But I'm telling you right now, this 2-1 buy down is where it's at. This is what we need to be doing. Like I told you, I've already spoke to my sellers about this, and we've got them on board. The majority of them are wanting to offer this. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Don't just get out of the market because the rates are too high. Especially with this program that we have here that these lenders are offering. It's a great asset to buyers. It's a great asset to sellers to use it as a negotiating tool to try to get their listings moved. So if you have any questions, reach out to us. We're here to help, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.